Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WCA 2015 European Pro Qualifiers. We're about ready for our second game, and it's going to be Hearthstone once again. Our two players are StanCifka from the Czech Republic and Lifecoach from Germany. Lifecoach is a veteran when it comes to Hearthstone events, and StanCifka is on his way to becoming a veteran himself with plenty of title wins. Both these players are already set to make it into the winner's bracket. This is more of a mental match and a mental victory for both these players. The players are ready. Gamescom 2015 is ready. Let's start the match.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see this match. Lifecoach versus StanCifka. Lifecoach is the myth, the man, the beard, the legend. And StanCifka, empowered by bananas. He should, like, some company making bananas should sponsor this man.
He needs to form his own banana company called like Mukla's Bananas, because he's been powered up by these bananas, taking really good wins over Kalento and Ties. If he's to win this match as an up-and-coming player to beat everyone in the round robin, that's fantastic for his career. And he's played so well, even with a deck which we put down straight away, mid-range Paladin, and look what happened.
Why would you even prepare the Paladin, a mid-range Paladin, for this kind of tournament? And he said it himself. He had a terrible match versus Kalento, but he was able to take it. So both of those players are 2-0. Whoever wins goes undefeated through the round-robin series, and then he ends up in the upper bracket with this mental advantage. Like, I haven't lost. I can beat these guys again. Like, I won versus them one time.
And not to mention, last week he was in Canada playing Magic, so he's playing in a big Magic tournament, and then straight over here, straight into Hearthstone. He just transitioned straight into another game with different mechanics, different kind of mindset as well. So StanCifka's not only just multi-talented, but he's proven he's capable in 2 games. He's just proven to us and kind of the world he's a fantastic player with a lot of potential.
I really like the decks overall that the players brought, because we mentioned that Cifka is playing Paladin, but they share Hunter. They both brought Hunter, but other than that, there is a Zoo for Stanislav. He's playing double Bane of Doom. And for Lifecoach, there's Green Patron with Roll inside. So a very interesting card choice there. He's also playing BGH, a very good card versus this meta game. Plus, what's his last deck?
Druid. A staple Lifecoach pick, you know, always picking Druid. Patron has found his way into his lineup recently because of his strength. Handlock's not here today, which is very interesting because Handlock is a deck I kind of associate with Lifecoach all the time, but Hunter is one of his roots deck, you know, Sunshine Hunter, building up that deck when mid-range Hunter was still really strong, and it's still strong to this day, so it shows how much strength the Hunter class has. So every player brought Hunter, so that says a lot about the class.
What do you think this win, this match, will mean for StanCifka?
I think it'll be a morale boost, it'll be a confidence boost. Not only that, it'll prove to everyone who's watching and the competitive community that he can roll with the big boys. You know, he's beaten world-class players, he's beaten like players who've been signed by big eSports teams, and he's been recently signed himself. So he's proven to his organization that he is capable of great things.
I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the match. Those guys are playing to get, well, they are already in the upper bracket, but overall the prize pool for the event is 7,000 euros for the first place, 3,000 for the second, 1,500 for the third, and they are all playing for the invites. But game number 1 is ready, players are starting. We are going to see Hunter versus Druid right off the bat.
This is a good matchup for the Hunter, especially the mid-range Hunter, but Druid, you know, we got the Wild Growth, we got the Innovate, Shredder, and Drake, so we got like an amazing start for Lifecoach here if he decides to keep this hand. So Druid is capable of amazing things, but it can also fall short really easily if it doesn't ramp early, or it just gets those clunky late to mid-game draws off the bat without the ramp. But here, look at this hand for Lifecoach, it's fantastic.
Is Stanislav betraying his bananas with an orange?
I don't know, he's hiding it.
He's hiding, he's like taking a bite and hiding it. Stanislav? Oh,
it's an apple.
It's an apple.
So he's actually quite a diverse fruit eater then. He's got bananas, he's got apples, he's a healthy guy.
If he loses this match, this will mean that apples, they do not work for him.
That's true, and Mukla's not going to be happy. Mukla will be very upset with him. It's interesting that he eats during a match. Like, for me personally, I find food can kind of disrupt my stomach if I'm in an intense competitive environment, and I try to stay clear of it. But StanCifka, he's just chomping away, you know, getting that energy, getting that goodness from his fruits.
Or maybe he's just trolling us with apples. So Lifecoach, he's thinking on his first turn. We've seen this many times before. I expect a rope, but really, you do have to think about it. You have double innervate coin. You can coin Wild Growth, but you can also think about Shredder turn 1, which will be just coin and innervate. And then versus Hunter, you will be the one having advantage. You can just Wild Growth on 2. You will have 3 mana next turn. You can innervate Azure Drake, and you just have an amazing, amazing curve. And he's going for Azure Drake turn 1.
So he wants to draw some more stuff to play later. I quite like this. The Innovate's played really well at the start. A 4/4 with spell power, challenging anything Hunter's going to drop here. That's really important for the Druid here. He wants to be able to contest the lower minions of StanCifka here and not let the Hunter take momentum.
So StanCifka facing an Azure Drake, a 4/4 on turn 2. What can he even do? Just Glaive Zuka face. Hero power. It seems like a hero power turn because.
Sorry, his hand's just bad though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, like I think Glaive Zuka. You can't play Glaive Zuka because it doesn't matter if you have 2 damage from Glaive Zuka. It's better to use the hero power. And then if you play Iron Begal, like silencing Azure Drake doesn't mean anything, and then Druid is just going to use Shapeshift.
He actually goes for the Glaive Zuka here, so he's actually going to tank a lot of damage here to deal with his Azure Drake. StanCifka must feel that because his hand's quite bad, if he doesn't deal with his Azure Drake, he's just never going to deal with it until late. Oh, until it's too late.
That's 12 points of damage from this one simple Azure Drake. And his turn 3 still doesn't look great. Just Web Spinner Hero Power, attack that Azure Drake. That's a very good start that Lifecoach got.
Another thing to consider as well, he might want a Hindmaster target next turn, so he might think about Iron Beak and Spinner, but the problem with that is turn 4 for Lifecoach is a swipe turn, so that's really weak to swipe. So overall, his plays are just generally really weak. I mean, if Lifecoach didn't have a 4-drop, Hero Power just deals with the Web Spinner, and again, Lifecoach has a really good life lead, and StanCifka is playing from behind because it's just a clunky hand.
Not even mentioning swipe, you can just have a simple Wrath, and then just Hero Power Wrath, and the minions are cleared. But it seems like he's going for the play you suggested, trying to get that Houndmaster set up on 4, buffing a beast. For Lifecoach though, that was a very explosive start and a good start.
Oh, he finds the swipe as well. I think the swipe is important just because of the Hindmaster here, but he might just want to play a minion on curve here just to have something for StanCifka to think about and start keeping up with the board. But yeah, this Hindmaster is going to be excellent for StanCifka, so he's actually going to have an opportunity here to sustain a little bit.
Yeah, so Cifka is building a wall of defense. I imagine he'll just... oh, he's trading. I was thinking he's going for face because he wants to force Lifecoach to trade into his minions. But apparently he just wants to see the minions, see what's going to happen.
Nerubian Weblord would have been interesting if he still had that Azure Drake, if he didn't go for the turn 1, innovate Azure Drake. So that would have locked out the battle cry there. Hungry Crab coming from the Web Spinner, not what you want to see. We don't see Murlocs anymore. Murloc Warlock was once a thing, but no longer.
There is always a possibility that a second Shredder will drop a Murloc.
That's true, yeah. He's got the hard removal for those Murlocs, and he'll be like, yes, Web Spinner did something for me. But you want to find a high main or something. That's the kind of stuff you want to see from your Web Spinner.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Double swipe.
I think you do swipe here and attack for 1 phase. On the other hand, double swipe is 8 points of damage and your opponent is already 18. So if you consider like Savageur this turn, how much damage is it? With Savageur, that's 5 points of damage to face. And with double swipe, that's another 8. That's 13 points of damage. You only need to deal 5. But so Lifecoach was certainly thinking about going face as well with all the cards he has. But just clearing a big minion and protecting the Weblord, especially thinking that maybe Weblord is actually making it difficult for your opponent, I like it.
Yeah, it's not affecting Lifecoach at this point in the game, so keeping it around is not much of a problem. And if this knife actually hits the Weblord, that actually could be quite good for Lifecoach. So if he does draw something that's locked out by Weblord now, he can just trade it into the Knife Juggler, and the Weblord never was a problem.
Oh my god, how much damage is that? That's 4 damage per Savageur. So 9 points of damage that he can deal here.
Lifecoach is kind of taking the role of the hunter here, super aggressive, loads of damage, whereas StanCifka is kind of taking the role of the druid, just trying to play mid-range minions to sustain. So it's kind of a bit of a role reversal here. The Lifecoach, he's going to have to consider how he wins here. He might still draw kind of clunky draws, which druid can be quite prone to. So would you take the aggressive stance here?
I don't think so. You have some Force of Natures in your deck. If you get Ancient of Lore, if you get the Druid of the Claw, you still will have an opportunity to use Savage Roar to even more effects. So that's, but on the other hand, like your hand right now is terrible if you don't get into an aggressive stance.
Not only that, with Lifecoach, he's pretty healthy at 28, so maybe he can take his time a little bit. Double Savage Roar, so he is going on all aggressive here. 9
points of damage to face, that's a lot, and you do have the swipe as a follow-up. You just need 3 points of damage where your hero power is providing you with 1. A Keeper of the Grove is actually lethal, and Hunter normally doesn't have any life gain.
Yeah, it's looking really... It's really interesting for Lifecoach because he could have played patiently, he could have sat back and waited, but you don't really want to give a hunter an opportunity to regain momentum. And right now, StanCifka, as far as board is concerned, he has all the momentum. So Lifecoach kind of taking initiative with the aggressive stance there, hoping he can just finish him off before StanCifka starts building something too unbearable. Like if a high main came down right now, it'd be really awkward for Lifecoach, and he has to think about stuff like that.
On the other hand, I think Lifecoach is in a great position, just dealing 5 damage this turn, killing the juggler is a bonus, and any damage he can get, a Druid of a Claw of Charge. Well, Raph is going to at least give him a card draw. He will be able to kill the Hungry Crab. Maybe that's a beast, right? Hungry Crab is a beast. Yeah, we
stopped the High Master target as well. The second High Master came down, but not only that, he can slow down Hunter just a little bit more. He goes to draw 5 of Force of Nature.
Force of Nature as 1 damage off at this point, but I think you still just go Force of Nature and prepare swipe next turn. Even if there is a Lothab. Well, actually, does Lothab kill you? Because with so much damage, you might probably want to swipe here. You will be able to deal with the Juggler, with the Hungry Crab as well.
Swipe is almost like an aggressive swipe because he's looking to set up lethal, but it does have a defensive attribute as well, as it slows down Hunter from potentially finishing you off. So I think swipe's probably the best answer here. Oh, he doesn't go for it. He just thinks Force of Nature is the best. So he can actually trade one of the Treant into something if he wants.
It's more about like, what are you afraid of? If you're afraid of Lothab, you probably swipe because Lothab can set a board where you will not be able to finish the game. If you're afraid of Sludge Belcher or a Houndmaster, then you want to use Force of Nature to just make an attack right now. Like even Explosive Trap or Freezing Trap, there's a lot of, I think there's many more cards that stop Force of Nature than cards that actually stop the swipe from winning the game.
And we know that StanCifka's running Sludge Belcher. We've seen it crop up in his games during the week already, and Lifecoach is a man who understands his opponent's deck and he takes note of these things, and that's why he takes so long, you know?
Yeah, Lifecoach takes game number 1, an excellent play. He actually left Stan on 1 exactly, so even his shapeshift, his hero power was lethal as well, so not only Lothab, not even Lothab was protecting Stan there. Just what an interesting game, just opening with Azure Drake, being super aggressive, just double Savage on a Weblord. That's the first time I've seen something like this.
The double innovate just shows how powerful the early ramp is in that matchup and how important it was for Lifecoach to get that win. Because if he hadn't had that early ramp to start dealing with the pressure of, well, the non-existent pressure of Stan, he didn't have a good hand. He had to tank 12 damage. So if he didn't tank that 12 damage, he would never have been in a position with that hand to set up a lethal like that, and he would have been really behind. So, you know, that just shows the power of Druid with its ramp cards.
I was imagining Stan just trying to get a banana from beneath the table because the apple didn't work.
Apple failed him.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't get the +1/+1 power up. Maybe it's -1/-1 if you eat an apple.
Lifecoach looking like a Seth in all the red lights. The dark side of Lifecoach coming up. He was going to. Is he going to play a Hunter? That's the dark side of Lifecoach.
You know, well, not every player, but a lot of players hate Hunter, and it would definitely complement the atmosphere he's created with that camera, sitting in the red, the Sith, and the light side there with the blue.
The Jedi Cifka.
The classic colors of the lightsaber clashes from the two sides in Star Wars. But this is WarCraft. Yeah, so the Alliance and the Horde, this is what this is all about. And you could perceive Horde as evil, but they're not really. They've got their own kind of thing going on. I would just say Alliance and Horde are not evil at all. They kind of just have two different ideas of how they should live in their societies. That's another conversation for another game.
So Lifecoach with Green Patron and StanCifka with a Zoo. That's a good matchup for Patron. Zoo can win it, but Zoo needs very specific cards. I'm surprised that Stan actually mulligans and the Ruben Egg and Power Overwhelming. Personally, I love those cards in this matchup because with Death Rattles, with big Death Rattles, you are able to build up enough pressure to kill the warrior before he combos out. Gang Boss is also a great card to have at the start because it's terrible in end game. Patrons just charging into Gang Boss, producing those imps, and then charging into imps, producing even more patrons. From Lifecoach's perspective, you just want weapons and being able to stop the early aggression from the Zoo, and then just get combo cards, slam Torison, get a good patron, and get a board. You'll be overall happy. Zoo doesn't have AoE cards. There is no Shadow Flame, no Hellfire. The best pseudo AoE card is Implosion, but Patron just loves Implosion.
And you need Knife Juggler for that, so it's like a two-part pseudo AoE. And not only that, Lifecoach has an amazing hand here. Armor's Fist going to contest this Abusive Sergeant pretty easily. He has a coin Death Spike for anything threatening that comes out. Things are looking good. As for StanCifka, I mean, Bane of Doom has played an important role in some of his victories this week, getting back-to-back Mal'Ganises game after game with his Bane of Doom. So let's see if these Bane of Dooms have the kind of same result in this match.
Bane of Doom is this dangerous factor that looking at his hand right now with Narubinek, I think it's alright. Also, Void Caller is a very important card in this matchup because it's a 3/4 body, which is not easy to deal with. And if you attack it with Death Spite, there is a demon coming. And if you get a Void Caller, it's actually great value getting a free 3/4. If he picks up something like Mal'Ganis or Doomguard, he will be in a even better shape. And as you mentioned, Bane of Doom was a card that won him an unwinnable matchup versus Thais. If you get something like Pitlord or Mal'Ganis or even Jaraxxus on board, that can be really difficult to deal with for the Green Patron Warrior.
And not only does Void Caller, it's a fantastic card with a lot of value, it does create more questions for your opponent. What will he get from that Void Caller? How can I deal with someone like a Mal'Ganis or a Doomguard? So it does creates awkward situations for the player. That's why the card's just fantastic. Not only do you get great value, but also puts a lot of thought into your opponent on how they have to deal with whatever it brings from the hand.
A really interesting play from Lifecoach, just going with the Frothing Berserker on 3 instead of coining the Death Spite. So recognizing the fact that Frothing Berserker will be able to trade with whatever is being played, just taking his time.
This actually sets up really nicely for Death Spite. So if he Death Spites this Void Caller, and say Mal'Ganis came out, the buff on the Frothing Berserker would make a clean trade. So maybe Lifecoach is thinking, if I play this Frothing, and he does play a Void Caller, I've got options to deal with stuff like Doomguard, Mal'Ganis, which are cards that really swing things in the Zulok's favor.
Well, with this, he's definitely going to be able to deal with Mal'Ganis, but we don't have a demon like that. There is a second Void Caller just waiting, and he goes for it. He checks for the demon. Let's see his reaction when he sees the Void Caller. I didn't really want to see that, because if I attack into it now, I can get Mal'Ganis, and I don't have anything to deal with this at this point.
It was like, I'll take the guy. I've got a way to deal with what comes out. Apart from that, because that is awkward. That made my reliable way to deal with a threat become awkward again, because it is like like I said earlier, it's an awkward card to deal with sometimes. So Stan's got an egg here. He's got an owl. It's interesting he didn't want to use a Bane of Doom there, because he could have run, say, the Imp Gang boss in and Bane of Doom, but he does set up the little imps to be cleared by the Death Sprite. So
I think it's definitely fine. With Bane of Doom, the problem is that sometimes you can just get a very weak minion. So you commit to losing your gang boss, and then you get the Bane of Doom, and you get the Void Walker in the end, which doesn't really do much. Well, actually, against the weapon, Void Walker wouldn't be that bad, but you can get the Blood in or Flame in.
I like this play because the Death Spike doesn't clear up both minions now, and he sets up just annoying creatures. Haunted Creepers, really annoying. Imp Gambos is a bit of a nuisance, and we've talked about the Void Collar a lot. So he's just playing minions that are causing problems to Lifecoach here.
Definitely. I mean, one of the spiders, I'm fine with Nerubian Egg because there is a Whirlwind effect and it will be easy to kill the egg himself. He also is running a lot of buff cards like Defender of Argus and Zabi's Surgeons. For the Lifecoach though, he is running Brawl, and maybe also that's why Stanislav chose the Nerubian Egg, because he knows that Brawl is coming. Like most of the time when you're playing versus Patron, you never think about Brawl. You're even happy that, oh, I'm playing versus Patron, so there is no Brawl, I can just play all the minions I want. But there is one, and he just got it. But this is not the time.
Brawl might play an important role for Lifecoach to deal with multiple threats that StanCifka gets, but he has to consider now that these Death Rattles are going to spawn more minions, and he's going to have to deal with them first before the Brawl gets any real value. So where could he go from here? Coin Thorson could be an option. He could clear up the Void Collar, but like we mentioned, he doesn't know what it's going to bring out, so it might not be worth the risk. It's a tough turn for him.
I don't like Thorson that much. What I like is slam the 2-3 and then attack the demon with the weapon. Because with that play, you draw a card, so you make your Thorson better next turn, and you maybe will get a card that's really important to play. Plus, you clear the board and you only leave the egg and a possible demon that drops from the Void Collar. But because you cannot immediately, well, if you would like to immediately deal with something with a big demon, you will have to Whirlwind and execute. So I would prefer to do that, but I can see the value of Thorson and just having better turns starting from the next turn.
I think it was the fear of the Void Collar what it'd bring out. He doesn't want to see something he can't deal with, or something that would create a lot of damage. So if Mal'Ganis came down, Imp Gambos would have been buffed, so and then you'd take a 9 next turn. He does have an execute, but he wouldn't be able to use it straight away. So yeah, it was tough. And Thorson gives him some value at least.
Poor Stanislav is fishing for a demon and he just can't find it. No demons for him now, but still his board is amazing. He has the double Bane of Doom, and what some people do not realize, Bane of Doom can actually deal damage to face. It's just a 2 damage for 5 mana. It seems terrible, but if you are lacking those 4 points of damage versus Warrior, maybe you can just Bane of Doom them to death. And when they die, you actually get the demon.
I actually won a tournament game because my opponent didn't know Bane of Doom could go face. I was on 2 health, and he had Bane of Doom, and he didn't realize he could do it in face, and I actually won the next turn. And someone turned around to him because they were watching and said, "Why didn't you Bane of Doom his face?" And he was just like, "What do you mean?" He's just confused. He's like, what do you mean? But some players, he didn't know that as a competitive player. So some players don't know. But that's a 10 mana 4 damage burst. That might just be enough to close out the game if he needs to.
So Lifecoach picked up a Green Patron, which is an amazing card. And if he sniffs that there is no demon for Stanislav, and Stanislav kind of said that while not attacking and not killing Thorson with his Void Collar, because there was an opportunity to attack into that. So Lifecoach takes that risk, reads it into it, and gets a very nice Whirlwind effect. On the other hand, he can't really execute, he can't really Whirlwind again, because then he will activate the eggs.
And the eggs will be able to trade into his board really efficiently. But he does create a few patrons here, so he does create some trouble. And StanCifka knows if he's got that Warsong in hand and he can't deal with these patrons, Lifecoach will probably win because he'll just trade into everything he'll play. So it's pretty tough for him. Direwolf Alpha here and Argus, they can help.
That's not enough damage, so you might start with Bane of Doom, but if you haven't been using Bane of Doom before. On the other hand, Stanislav is already at 12, so life tapping here is really tough. If you get something really good from Bane of Doom, like even if you get Felguard, which is the 3/5, you should be happy about it. So a demon is going, a 6/6 Infernal.
That's pretty good.
That's a solid demon.
So this 1/1, I can imagine it being run into the Thorson here, just so he can't use it. Oh, actually, so yeah, he can almost deal with this Thorson. Not quite, but he's going to have to run into the forest, and he's going to have to do it. You don't want to give him a target for his patron. And there we go. So he knows what he's doing. And he's got these two 4/4 bodies now and a 6/6 to challenge. But it might not be enough here because I think...
Well, he has lethal.
He has lethal, yeah. He didn't even need any patron shenanigans. He just had enough on board with the weapon to finish him off.
Just finish your opponent with weapons. That's what Warrior does. And Lifecoach does it. He takes the game 2 versus StanCifka. 2-0 lead for Lifecoach. He's just playing so methodically, just, you know, using his cards in a way that, that they work together. Like it's not the fact that he played the Frauding on turn 3 instead of Deathspite. It enabled him to put a lot of pressure on StanCifka, and then he was the one actually playing those minions, and StanCifka needed to trade into them.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic, and he's not playing typical Lifecoach here, like roping every turn. He seems pretty confident in all the decisions he's making. He's making some of them quite, not fast, but at a faster pace than he usually would. So it's just showing like Lifecoach is very much in control of this series right now. And we're looking, the Paladin's coming out. This has been the talking point of StanCifka's tournament and how much success he's found with this deck. So
well, with this hand, I can't even argue about his success. He has everything with the Paladin.
Yeah, finds a Quartermaster with the coin and muster. So Knife Juggler, muster, coin, Quartermaster is going to be awesome for him. But what can Lifecoach get here? Hounds is a defo keep because of muster. It just interacts very well with it. But he's going to want to find some early stuff to deal with his Knife Juggler.
Lifecoach is going first, so definitely he wants something to play on turn 1. A Leper Gnome, maybe even an Abuser Sergeant, and basically do the Hunter things. Just playing tempo cards, trying to deal damage, put StanCifka in a situation where he is the one being defensive. And we've seen the same situation yesterday. Even though this opening hand looks great, when Lifecoach deals with everything and StanCifka is just left with a Quartermaster and no dudes on board, it's not that great anymore.
Well, we were talking about how great his hand was. It was very similar when he was playing against Kalento, and Kalento responded to all his plays going on curve, and he ended up with like Quartermaster, coin Quartermaster in his hand, and it was really sluggish at the end because Kalento was able to deal with this fantastic hand he had, but he goes for the shielded mini-bot. Great card against Hunter. 2 for 1 almost, guaranteed most of the time. Owl might come down maybe, or would you just see the knife? No, Counter Creeper is good because he has the Knife Juggler now.
Definitely no Juggler. Now it's the decision between the Counter Creeper and Owl. If you play an Owl, you are not going to lose an Owl to a weapon attack because Master of Battle is free mana. If you go into Hunter Creeper deals with the shield, and then you have minions. You also have a Knife Juggler as a follow-up. So I think Hunter Creeper in this case, because you got the Juggler, is much better. And you want Owl. You know what deck is he playing, so you want Owl for something like a Sludge Belcher, Pilot to Shredder, and eventually Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion will become a problem without an Owl there. Divine Shield, 6/6, big body with some burst to follow with the weapon. So Owl, a very important card. Deal with some of the mid-range Paladin stuff when it comes later on. So the bow just clears up the Knife Juggler here. The thing with Minibot, he doesn't want to really trade into a Creeper because of the value you get from the 1/1s. So this Creeper is going to be able to do some work with that Knife Juggler eventually.
Yeah, definitely the attack to phase is okay. You want to have a possibility to play the Juggler on 4 if you're forced. On the other hand, you would love to play Juggler with Unleash the Hounds. For StanCifka now, turn 3, it's, well, I think you do Master for battle. There is no point in keeping it in hand. If you just do that, you're losing a lot. You want to be aggressive. This hand looks aggressive. Master into True Silver. The problem that he's facing is that he will not be able to play Quartermaster on turn 4. So those minions are probably going to die. That's why he was thinking maybe you're just creating a minion with his hero power. But it is a lot of power on board, and he will be able to deal some damage with it.
And the weapon here gave him a better way to deal with the Haunted Creeper. Without the weapon to clear up one of the tokens, it wouldn't have been worth popping the Creeper straight away. The problem with Muster, which Paladin has against Hunter, Unleash the Hound just kind of deals with it straight away. But you can't play around it. If you have Muster, you kind of mostly have to just commit to it and hope for the best. And here...
I think Unleash the Hounds makes a lot of sense. Lifecoach might be afraid of Consecration, but if you Master for 4, you will be able to kill the 2/2 with the weapon, kill one of the 1/1s, and you're left with 2 dogs of these. So you clear the board, you attack for 2, and you are the one with minions. I love Unleash Knife Juggler on 5, but if you keep the Juggler and Unleash for the next 2 turns, because you are not afraid of Quartermaster, it will be turn 4, so on turn 4 the best play for Paladin is Spider to Shredder or True Silver. So Lifecoach might decide to wait, and he actually does decide to wait. Only hero powers on 4, just setting up this big Unleash Juggler turn.
I do like that actually, because it plays a bit of patience. The Paladin, as we've discussed before, doesn't have a lot of burst, so he doesn't really need to worry about that. And turn 5 is just a better way to deal with this board. Gets those knives, squeezes in a bit of extra damage, and he might not even need to use his hounds to trade them, because the knives might go in his favor, and he keeps a strong board, and Consecrate will be the only answer to deal with it.
A great read from Stanislav, not giving a chance to get another recruit, just using his 4 mana to set up a True Silver champion. So he kind of knew that there is Unleash and Juggler with 4 minions on board. I think that made a lot of sense, but now a Lifecoach needs to think if he really wants to do that.
Yeah, he could hold back on it if he wants, but he needs to consider turn 5, Quartermaster turn, and then Knife Juggler, Unleash the Hounds becomes even weaker. So he has to go for it here, and he does, and he might get some good RNG here, allowing him to keep his Hounds alive. No Consecrate available to StanCifka yet. Knife finds 1. Third knife is gonna hit.
He just didn't really want to heal the shield and me, but on the other hand, actually, he will be able to kill it with the Hounds. So I was thinking you want to attack with the shield and me, but with the weapon. But this is much better. You are able to clear. You are able to push with some damage as well. Just needs to kill the last recruit with the Hound attack. He's thinking if he wants to go for phase, maybe. But there's just no point giving a Quartermaster value. So look at that. Quartermaster, turn 5. Terrible card, just to 5, not doing anything. True Silver can deal with the Knife Juggler easy. And I think this Quartermaster is still a play, but it doesn't look good.
It's a 2-5 though, can contest some of the stuff from this Hunter, but StanCifka's in a similar situation he had with Kalento. He tried to get the muster out for the Quartermaster. Kalento dealt with it, and then 2 Quartermasters in hand going, what do I do with these guys now?
But the matchup is all about, I think, StanCifka surviving Hunter. So the fact that he had a very aggressive opening put Lifecoach in a situation where Lifecoach was the one trying to trade into those minions and defend himself from Stanislav, where Stanislav is not that aggressive as a deck. So right now it's turn 5 and he still has 20 points of health. He's going to heal 2, take 3, so he's going to end up at 19. But next turn there's possible Sylvanas, and we are slowly getting to Tyrion as well.
I think playing the Quartermaster here is fine. 2-5, he gets to challenge this little doggy here, and Mad Scientist, another Knife Juggler. There's a lot of things that this 2-for-1, 3-for-1.
Leper Gnome turn 6. So I was talking to Kalento about it, and Leper Gnome and Savannah Highmane in the same deck is so weird sometimes, because you get Savannah Highmane in your opening hand instead of Leper Gnome, and then turn 6, instead of top decking Savannah, you top deck Leper Gnome. But it works, and it is a risk of the deck that sometimes it does not work that well. But it's certainly great to have a Savannah in your deck.
Yeah, Savannah is just one of the best 6-drops in the game. I would say it's easy to argue. Thorson, Sylvanas, Savannah, I would say 3 of the best 6-drops. Consecrate as well there, so he's got a way to deal with these minions quite efficiently, and he could also bounce his Quartermaster back, but he's actually gone for the attack first because he doesn't want to bounce his Quartermaster. He can Consecrate here, play a dude, and then he can bounce the dude if he wants to. So good play from StanCifka, but he's down to 13 now, so Lifecoach is getting close. He's getting very close.
It's really dangerous. There is 5 damage coming from the weapon and the hero power. Haunted Creeper is actually a blank. Lifecoach definitely wanted something with charge or something bigger. He can kill commands. That'll be 10 points of damage, putting Stanislav to almost 1.
I don't think a kill command completely needed yet. It's not turn 8, so no lay on hands coming up next. He could hold on to it if he doesn't want to tell StanCifka he's very close to killing him. He might just save it to the point where he can finish him off. So this is probably what Lifecoach is thinking, what he could do on turn 7. Healbot could be an answer, but we haven't seen Healbot yet in his deck. So
Healbot is definitely a possibility in a mid-range Paladin deck. We've seen Healbot before. And I like the skill command. This means that no Lothep is going to stop the skill command, and Lifecoach will just need to get 1 point of damage, something like Abuse the Sergeant, if the minion survives, or Wolf Rider, Arcane Golem. Quick shot. There is a lot of stuff that he can draw into. If there is a Sludge Belcher, if there is a taunt, he has Iron Begal to actually get rid of it. But Stanislav has a weapon, and he can heal 2 points of damage still.
Yeah, 8 health might just keep him alive a little bit longer. StanCifka's got 2 healing from that. He's got Tyrion coming up next to it. It's a bit late in the game for him because he's so low. So he's going to want to find a lay on hands soon, I imagine. So what do you send back to your hand here? You assume it's freezing. I don't think we've seen Lifecoach run anything else yet. Wait, did he run Explosive?
I think Explosive was on the Ties.
Ties, yeah.
Ties side. This is a very good question. The great question is actually, can he deal with the spiders? And I think he can't. Because one of the minions is going to get back to the hand. So now we know this is a freezing trap.
All right, go into arms here with these little dudes being buffed up. Free freeze. So he's basically going for the kill here.
Yeah,
he knows
he's racing.
He has to race, he's got no choice here. And the Quartermaster actually next turn, when it bounces, if Lifecoach can't find lethal now, he can Quartermaster again and buff his minions and finish him off. And
that's actually not a spell Lifecoach wanted. He's 2 damage off from killing Stanislav. Stanislav having 6-8, so he can't finish the game as well. This is so close, actually. Can Stanislav top deck some damage? Where Paladin normally doesn't have burst, but he's playing Blessing of Kings. He has a 2nd True Silver in his deck. He has 2nd Consecration. Wait, actually he has the Quartermaster.
Yeah, he bounced it back, so he's going to be able to do it again. And Lifecoach probably knows this now. He knows he has a double Quartermaster coming up, and he'll be able to finish him off.
If Lifecoach attacks into the 3/3, then there will be 5 damage incoming. So Lifecoach will be able to survive on 1.
Oh, that's true. Does he see it? That's a big question. The rope's burning. This is Lifecoach plays best when that rope is coming down, when he feels the pressure. He can actually trade into one of them as well.
Oh yeah, because he didn't attack. So Lifecoach is in a good spot. This is 5 + 3. So,
wow.
Yeah, he's 1 damage off lethal. He gets lay on hands though. So he will be able to escape the range. And now we're back to the situation where Lifecoach will need to top deck something.
And he can start trading as well, so you can deal with some of the damage incoming next turn from Lifecoach. He can heal as well. He might find even more answers, maybe a heal bot if he's running it. Lay on hands was an amazing pickup for StanCifka here. It was just what he needed at the right time.
He also had a Tyrion, to be honest, but lay on hands is definitely better because you are safe from kill commands and quick shots. With Tyrion, you never know. There can be a spell top deck, there can be a 2nd Iron Begal. Right now, though, just healing himself, and yeah, Lifecoach is visibly upset about the heal.
And he finds some extra burst as well, Consecrate and Blessing of Kings, so it's going to be easy for him to close out the next game. So we can start trading here. So he's going to take out the Owl. The Beasts are the important cards, almost, because they're kill command activators.
You want to deny the Beast, but on the other hand, attacking into the Haunted Creeper is creating 2 spiders, so in essence it might be more damage, more visible damage.
It technically does the same thing, because you're going to take 2 damage from the tokens, and you're going to take 3 from the kill command. Going to roll.
So if he gets a Huffer, that's 5 + 10. He's 1 damage off lethal, but he is so close. And now with the trap set, that Huffer was so important. He just needs to see if he wants to attack into this 3/1.
I think you have to. You need to lock down this Quartermaster from doing any damage with the freezing trap. Blessing of Kings is a card he's seen being played, and Blessing of Kings has done a lot of work for Stan and his Paladin during this week, so something to consider there.
But even with Blessing of Kings, he's still 1 damage off? Not really. Actually, he attacks with the Quartermaster. If that's a freezing trap, then he can just use Blessing of Kings. There will be 7 points of damage with the minion, and he finishes the game with the Consecration.
But he has to trade here with the Haunted Creeper. He's on 2 health now. Hero power finishes him off. So there's no reason not to trade here.
And then even with Blessing of Kings and Consecration, Stan is still 1 damage off, unless he gets it through still. Well, with Freezing Trap, he's actually
just locked out. Yeah, he's
just locked out.
So Stan's going to try and figure out something here. What can he do? Testing the trap will probably tell him all the information he needs if he's won or lost. He's signaling for well played here.
Yeah, he sees it. So Lifecoach is going to take the match 3-0 versus StanCifka. Undefeated. Still, Stanislav played really well. I really enjoyed his plays with the Paladin. He made those very good decisions. Putting Lifecoach really low, just being super short of lethal there, almost getting the win with the Paladin. And you know, if he would win with Paladin, maybe he would take the whole match.
Another thing that's important about these games, even though these two guys are guaranteed to be in the winner's bracket tomorrow, he got to try and kind of figure out some information from Lifecoach, how he can play against him. So it was good for StanCifka because he's, as we said, he's an up-and-coming player. So these matches are good experience for him. For Lifecoach, he gets to play a lot of tournaments, he gets to play a lot of talented players all the time. But with Stan, he gets an opportunity to test the waters, test the matchup ready for tomorrow, get some information. He can do some research now and watch the VODs and kind of see how Lifecoach was playing. So a lot of information will be very important to him. And I've seen him do his research over in the player area, so it's definitely going to pay off.
Yeah, both players are preparing a lot for this tournament and trying to talk with their opponents. They're friends, they talk a lot, they analyze the plays together. So there's a lot of preparation coming into it, but Lifecoach stands on top of the round robin. Let's listen what he has to say about this match and about everything else.
Gentlemen, thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations, Lifecoach. 3-0 so far in this tournament. I want to talk about that first deck, that Druid deck. Where did that come from? Where did that aggression come from with that deck?
Well, actually, like at the beginning, it was a really explosive start. So usually, Druid should definitely be able to get the upper hand and then simply win by that. But I only drew all blanks off my deck. So at that point, it was pretty clear that I could not outvalue him. So I think swapping the game plan to aggression was very important. And in the end, it basically worked perfectly out. So I was really glad it worked out.
In game number 3, when that laying out of hands came out for the Paladin, I can almost see you smirking on camera going, I wonder if I'm going to pull through this. You were able to, especially with that steady shot. What was going through your mind when that happened, and were you trying to hope that the next card was going to be the card that you needed?
Basically, from the scouting I did, I know that Stan doesn't run heal bots, so lay of hand should basically be the only heal of his deck, and the chances are probably roughly 35% that he got that. Okay, now he top-decked that, so that was a little bit, but I mean, what can you do? I just wanted to also say something to the German viewers here, simply because it's really great that I'm here. Ja, hey alle, also ich bin einfach super froh, dass ich hier bin. Und naja, Köln, das ist in Deutschland, ich habe hier jede Menge deutsche Fans und ich war jetzt schon auf ein paar Turnieren, aber die Stimmung hier ist einfach großartig und ihr seid großartig. Ja. Und normalerweise bei Hearthstone-Events ist ja normalerweise ein bisschen zurückhaltender, aber hier die Stimmung ist einfach wirklich bombastisch und ich freue mich wirklich, dass ihr alle hier seid.
They appreciated that, Lifecoach. Now that you're 3-0, you defeated all your opponents so far. You are the #1 seed moving into the winner's bracket. I'm sure you feel pretty good right now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Lifecoach. And that does it for Hearthstone for today. We're going to get set up for our next game, WarCraft 3. But during our break, we're going to hand out some prizes to the folks in the audience. So stick around. We'll return with the WCA 2015 European Pro Qualifier after this.